Well, today we will discuss about the business. Individuals work in the different areas and they have different motives. These motives are associated with the economic activities as well as non-economic activities. If we see, the economic activities are associated with the economic return. They are getting some money in return. Apart from that, here it is associated with generation of the income as well as management of the income, acquisition of income, retaining of the income, that is associated with that part. As well as the income is able to be identified, measurable, counted by that individual, how he is associated with those areas. If we see non-economic activities, non-economic activities are performed by the individual for the social purpose, cultural purpose, as well as the religious purpose. It is for the satisfaction of the individual, psychological satisfaction. Individual get psychological satisfaction by doing these activities, and it is associated with the satisfaction. It cannot be measured in the money. If we see the activities, economic activities associated with the business, profession, as well as the employment. If we see the business is associated, the business is as defined as organization or enterprising entity engaged in commercial, industrial, or professional activities. Business can be profit earning, or they can be non-profit organization that operates to fulfill a charitable mission or further a social cause. It is associated with that aspect. If we see the professional aspect, the profession is associated with a professional degree. Individual is associated with the consultancy. He is providing the consultancy in the different areas like the medical, like the travel industry, like the lawyer, like the teacher. They are providing the consultancy services in the different areas. As well as the individual is associated with the employment, where individual is getting a fixed salary on the basis of his work or the remuneration on the basis of his work. He is getting the money on the basis of the work. If we see the business characteristics are associated with the dealing of the goods and the services. They are providing the support in the goods and the services. Production is there as well as the exchange of the goods are there. Individual or the organizations, they are producing certain things and exchanging the goods also. That this exchange is from the producer to the retailer as well as to the customer, or the producer, CFAs, the wholesaler, the dealer or retailer at the different level. It is associated with the creation of the utility. If any product or the service have the utility, it will be utilized, otherwise it will not be utilized. The utilization is associated with the business. I or you will be preferring those things only which is for the utilization of ourselves. Then we will be ready to give the money or provide the money in that area. And it is associated with the continuous process. It is associated with the continuous process in the different area. It is associated with the profit motive. The individual is associated with the profit. When he is getting the profit, only then he is performing certain activities in those areas and that are beneficial for him in those areas. It is associated with the continuity of the dealing. That it is associated with those areas when the individual is associated with those areas, how that the risk is managed, dealing as well as the risk management. It is associated with that, how that the risk is associated with the machine is there, and how the machine may be used, how the people who are engaged in this particular business or in this particular production or the process, how they will be working in that area, what is the output of those people as well as those machines, and whether is there demand in the market. According to that, their risk is informed, and how the competition is there in the market. According to the competition, individual has to perform certain activities that this competition is there, as well as it is associated with the labor management, how the labor as well as the employee can be managed in the different areas. So when we talk about the business, then it is associated with two parts. The one part is associated with the industry, and the second part is associated with the commerce. The first part is associated with the industry. If we see the industry, it is associated with the different areas. Here, there is associated with it is associated with the extractive business. Extractive business is that industry where individual is getting the product from the natural resources, like the earth, the sea, and then air. It is associated with the farming, it is associated with the fishing, it is associated with the mining. Here they are extracting the product from the natural resources, it is associated with that aspect, as well as the genetic aspect. Here the genetic aspect is associated with the issue, the product is associated with the breeding of the plants as well as the animals. The breeding of the animal, taking care of those aspects, it is associated with that. As well as when we talk about the genetic aspect, it is associated with the nursery, cattle, breeding, and the poultry. These areas are covered in this area. As well as when we talk about the secondary aspect, here the secondary aspect is associated with the new areas which are associated with those areas. This is associated with the engineering area. The engineering area, then how the manufacturing aspect is there, that how the particular product is made. Here the engineering aspect is there, individual is making some particular product, the iron and steel is made over there, cement is made over there, as well as the sugar is made over there, and how these are done. If we see the manufacturing aspect, this manufacturing aspect is covered in the different area which is associated with the analytical production. Analytical production is that production when a particular product is separated from one product. The multiple products are made by the single product. Like the petroleum, through the petroleum there are the multiple products are made by the petrol. Here it is associated with that aspect, as well as it is associated with the synthetic aspect. The synthetic aspect is that where the two or more material are clubbed. These are clubbed for making any product, and this is associated with that aspect, how it is associated with that aspect, and how you are managing that particular issue. Here the individual is associated or the organization is associated with that particular, as well as the processing industry. The processing industry is that industry where the processing of any product is there. Processing of any product is there. If we see the making of the sugar, making of the textile industry, as well as making of the steel, there is a particular process involved in this, and the raw material is there, processing is there, and final output is there. It is associated with that aspect over, as well as there is the manufacturing area which is associated with the assembly line, that a product is assembled in a particular area. A car is there, in the car that the different products are made either from the company or from the outside of the company, and all the parts are assembled and making a particular car is made over there, and it is associated with that aspect, as well as the construction industry. When we talk about the construction industries, it is associated with that industry, it is associated with those areas where the production of the roads, infrastructure, as well as the different areas, the dams are associated with this particular area. This is associated with that aspect, how you are managing that. If we see the industry is not only associated with the one area, consumer area. That the consumer goods are those goods then where the consumer is directly purchasing some particular good for the purpose of the consumption. Individuals are there and they are purchasing the product from the retail or the wholesale. The individuals are purchasing that particular product, as well as the producer or the capital goods. Producer or the capital goods are those goods which are used for the further production. Here the product is made for the purpose of the final product. It is associated with that here some products are made over there, and in this area the product is made in that area, as well as intermediate goods. When we talk about the intermediate goods, that these goods are used for the final production, that may be raw material. The intermediate goods are those goods which are intermediately used by the organization, and it is associated with those areas. Again, when we see the role of the commerce, what is the role of the commerce in the present time? In the present time, the commerce is associated with one aspect. Then it is associated with that an organized system for exchange of the commodities and the distribution of the finished goods. Here it is associated with the exchange of the commodity and the distribution of the finished goods. Here the individuals are associated with that area, either individuals or some organizations are associated. The role of the commerce is associated with they are reducing the hindrance of the persons. Different individuals are involved in this area. The persons who are there, that which type of persons are required, the traders are required, the individuals are required for selling the product, and this is the commerce is reducing that hindrance, that it is playing the important role in establishing the contract between the producer as well as the consumer. Here it is associated with that. Here the commerce is associated with the removal of the hindrance through the exchange. When there will not be the exchange, the economy will not grow, or business will not be working, or business will not be flourishing. It is required that the product exchange should be there, or the exchange of the product should be there from the wholesaler to the retailer to the consumer, or from the company to the CFAs, FAs from that retailer, or to the customer, or from the company, CFAs, wholesaler, retailer to the consumer. Then it is reducing the exchange of those area, that the product is going in the multiple hands. Here the commerce is reducing the hindrance of the finance. The individual require the finance from the different area, either the banks, either the friends, either some companies, or some finance organization. The commerce is supporting the organizations to work in that area. It is associated with that aspect. Commerce is reducing the hindrance of the places. That it is associated with that how they are identifying the place where a product can be sold. Here the organization is associated with that area, that where these products are in abundance and where these products are in scarcity or in demand, and the commerce is associated with that part, or only that is helpful for them. It is also associated with the removal of the hindrance of the time. When the product is required, the organizations are working in these areas. That it is associated with the knowledge aspect. The individuals are associated with that the knowledge, that through the individual knowledge the person can get the proper knowledge, that how the upgradation of the product should be there, how it can be that enhanced, as well as that it is removing the hindrance of the risk. Here it is associated with that aspect. If some risks are there, how the procurement should be there, when the product should be sold, it is associated with that aspect. When that the product should be in the market at appropriate time. This is associated with that how the product and the services are there, or the industries are working in the different area. Thank you.